And this is now on me for myself and for Elton. I have to do this. Otherwise, there's no Pretty Deadly to come back.
What's up, everyone? Shaq here, and you know who this is ahead of his match at Backlash, teaming with The Miz against Danhausen and some schmuck. No need for the toxicology report, because this man is anything but toxic. Kit Wilson, how are you doing, my friend?
Very good. Thank you very much for having me. I like that intro. That was
Thank
nice.
you. You know what? It's always great when I can hit it on the first try. Fortunately, unlike the
Yeah.
WWE, this is not a live production, so I can make up for my mistakes in post. How's it going, man?
Yeah, going very well. I'm excited for Friday Night SmackDown. I'm more excited for Backlash the day after. I'm feeling prepped. I'm just, we're days away. I'm getting ready.
Bro, you're better. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but you're like better lit than I am. This is quite an impressive feat as far as
Wow.
Zoom interviews are concerned.
Do you know what? I'm right by my window, which
Hmm.
is right by my swimming pool, which is right by the sun. I feel like the good vibes are hitting me.
Love it. Well, they're hitting me too now, so I appreciate that. First things first, and I'm not complaining. In fact, I don't think anyone is, but why is there a 4-hour loop on WWE's YouTube channel of your man up entrance?
Well, look, it's we don't need to get too deep into it, but life is hard. There's a lot of struggle in the world. People go
Mhm.
through tough times. Mental health is real. So if you need a quick fix, if you need a little pick me up, we've got a 4-hour loop of my theme song.
Cool. Now, I really think that the theme song, the Titantron, it really speaks to the power of a good entrance, right? Like, especially for someone who has never seen a WWE superstar, or in this case, this version of a WWE superstar before. That is the first impression. And I feel like in that sense, you're a little bit of a throwback. How do you remember the first time you saw what the entire package was going to look like? And did you know that you had a winner on your hands there?
Yeah, do you know what? It was little bits. It was little bits of gold at a
Mm.
time. So I was speaking to the music department about the song. I sent over my notes. I sent over the vibe and the feel that I hoped it was. They gave it back to me, and I loved it. But you don't know what it's going to be like on the loudspeaker in the arena as you walk. So I was happy with that so far. Then I went to the PC in Orlando and I filmed the entrance video. I brought like 6 different outfits. I'm doing the movements. We've got the different backgrounds, and I saw a preview of that. And again, I loved it. I felt like this was it. Then I got told a week or two later that they were adding like a filter to it. They were making it look a little bit like Barbie meets the Aha music video, Take On Me. That was kind of the idea. But I didn't get to see that filter. I didn't get to see that. So there was a week or two of me thinking, now I really don't know how this is going to go. Now I really don't know. But when it clicked, when they showed it for the first time, I didn't see what people in the arena, fellow roster members said, "Have you seen that yet? Have you seen that? It looks amazing." And then that night I came out to it for the first time, Catalyst. Boom, it just kicked off. I think everything just felt right.
What does that say about the impact and the power that a good entrance can have for a superstar?
I think it's so important because, I would view myself before that as someone who had all the tools,
Mm.
but just didn't have the eyes or the start. And I think something that's powerful about an entrance music, an entrance video, and a packaging is it can get the eyes on you. It can get that ball rolling. And I think that's what it did for me. It catapulted me into the world and into the eyes of the wrestling community and the WWE universe. And it said, you either run with this or you sink. And I'm running.
Kit, why doesn't Luna have a tail?
That's incredible. That is incredible. Where is she? Luna! Luna!
If we can
She's
get a
asleep.
guest spot, I'd be
I can
thrilled.
I
But-
can see it. I might grab her. Let's see if she's Luna
Okay.
was unfortunately born without a tail, and I didn't know this was even a thing before we had cats, but Luna and Socks, our brother and sister, they came together, they were born together, but Luna is a Manx and she
Mm.
was born without a tail, which is apparently a genetic disorder that she was born with. But it just makes her that extra bit cuter, and she's that extra bit my special little girl. And I
She's
love the
limited edition.
question. You got me hyped now.
There you go.
Yeah, she's
Good.
the
You know,
best.
I always want to throw one of these in early. Well, shout out to limited edition if we can grab a shot of her after. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, she'll be coming.
Uh,
She'll be coming. I'll see her as well. Luna, she's coming. She will.
I think one of the things that people really connect with is that you're a throwback in the sense not of like a one. I feel like we've sort of at times skirted too far in the other direction. We've gone from these very like hokey, one-dimensional wrestlers of like the new generation era to now a lot of performers who are very much just extensions of themselves. And I
Mhm.
love that you've managed to tap into a very particular personality trait that you can then sort of amplify. Why is it that we sort of lost this art of character work in pro wrestling? Because I think there is a way, like you're doing it, to do it with a modern touch.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many reasons. There really is this, and I don't think a lot of us as people, when we look to the entertainment world, will fully take into all those real reasons. You know, sometimes we'll just be upset or complain about something and not take into those factors. But that is just life. I think the modern day of technology coming about, the kind of the TikTok way the world is nowadays, it's very instant, instant, instant. I think a lot of us on the roster have character depth, but I think the way the TV goes and presentation is we can only provide a certain amount. So, you know, sometimes I'm fighting against toxic masculinity and I can go deep into the reasons why about this person. Sometimes I'm just going to show up on TV and say, you're toxic, I don't like you.
Hmm.
You know, but then I think it's on me, maybe as best I can, whether it's on social media or in interviews, to go a little bit in more depth and to give you a bit more detail and those broader strokes and then those even more minute details. I think it's just difficult to get across. We have so much we want to offer, but when you're trying to tell a story, sometimes you can only afford to give the black and white, where there's lots
Hmm.
of color in between that. There's lots of gray to give. It's just sometimes easier to not confuse the broader audience with those details,
Hmm.
and maybe they get given out on social media. If that answered the question, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's it. I ask the questions, you answer them however you see fit, Kit. That does dovetail nicely though, because this crusade against toxicity and toxic
Mm,
masculinity isn't necessarily new to Kid Wilson. It's just something that the world is now seeing more at the forefront because there's a lot of components to yourself and Elton Prince and Pretty Deadly. And I love that. I love when performers have this backstory and all these facets to their character that helps them sort of flesh it out, even if it doesn't always get to be presented on TV. What's one part of Kit Wilson or Pretty Deadly that you guys have really fleshed out behind the scenes that we haven't seen much of on TV?
Well, do you know what? It's funny you say that, yeah, because I think Pretty Deadly, the characters, again, we're talking about that. I think the Pretty Deadly characters in the broad strokes of things was just their friendship and their obnoxious colorfulness. But we had a lot of backstory, and to tell you a little story to show that is one day in the PC when we were just kind of starting out in NXT, John Cena came to visit and give a talk. And I believe Matt Bloom told John Cena that he'd want to have a few words with the Pretty Deadly Boys. So John grabbed us, and for about an hour and a half, we talked in a room. And he kind of gave us advice, but he also kind of quizzed us. I felt like he made us work for it. And he asked, what was the Pretty Deadly backstory? He said, who are you guys? He said, who are you? And he stopped talking. So we went in big and we told him all about our backstory because we have a backstory and we'd figured out the backstory for a TV presentation, you know, and it had those things in like toxic masculinity. We had, you know, I won't openly admit it now, but we've talked sometimes how certain characters that are obnoxiously loud and wearing certain colors might be doing it out of a certain level of insecurity. Maybe they're peacocking, you know. But I think the fun of it is you never know which direction you're going to end up on TV. So I think we have a lot of back pocket things, and it just so happened the beauty of it going into a solo career for now that toxic masculinity fit everything that's going on right now, and that was yeah, that was a part of the Pretty Deadly character, but it just never got explored, and now I get to explore it now, and it just happens also to be very true to life to who I am, and a big part of my personality on screen and off screen.
You mentioned for now wishing Elton all the best in his recovery. Where does Pretty Deadly go from here? Because I think you have exceeded expectations for what a singles or a solo run might look like for you. when you're
Hmm.
going through this journey, is it now primarily about you, or is this a way to elevate Pretty Deadly and give them a step up from where they were before Elton's injury?
Yeah, do you know what? For sure, it's a way to elevate. The only issue is with Elton and the unfortunate injury. There's still a big question mark there. We've got a long road of recovery, and it's still a bit of a question mark of whether he will return to the ring. It's a serious injury, so I hope he does. I want him to come back, and if he does, yeah, hopefully I've raised the profile enough that it'll be a bigger and better Pretty Deadly.
Mm.
The fun side of that is I think it'll be a different Pretty Deadly. I don't
Hmm.
think we fully know what that will be. And I think it'll be a more mature Pretty Deadly. Again, starting off in NXT UK, I think I was 24. I think Elton was 22. I'm now 30. Elton is, I think, any day now turning 29. So I think Pretty Deadly by the time they come back and by the time they reform, we're just going to be more mature. I think we're going to be just a different animal. I don't even fully know what that is. I think we'll very
Mm.
much stand for a lot of similar things, but it's going to be an evolution for real, for sure. We were Charmander before, and now we're about to become Charizard.
Okay. Okay, I like it. I like it. Well, these days there's even more evolutions. I'm kind of out of the loop, but I'm excited
Yeah,
to
I'm
see where
struggling to
things
catch
go.
up.
Yeah, truly. Um, for those who don't know, the tag team of you and Elton actually
Hmm.
predates the WWE. In fact, you guys have been doing this almost from day one as professional wrestlers.
Hmm.
What were the anxieties like when he got hurt and now it was time to rediscover yourself and forge a path forward?
Yeah, do you know what? It was massive. It was, I don't think I ever truly realized how much of a security blanket and a safety net we were for each
Mm.
other until we didn't have each other, until we didn't have a choice. We were rocking and rolling as a team, and then to not have that was very foreign. It was very scary. It was, there was anxiety there. But I think the silver lining, the beauty in it all, it forced me to look at myself and to think about these things. You have a lot of nerves in your head sometimes. You think about these things, and sometimes you try and push them aside. But I had no choice but to own up to it. So anytime I felt a bit anxious or a bit worried to not have him, I had to address that feeling and thought in my head, face it head on. And I think because of that, I've grown. I think because of that, that's why I'm pushing hard in this singles run and doing better than ever because I've got no choice. This is now on me, and this is now on me for myself and for Elton. I have to do this, otherwise there's no Pretty Deadly to come back. If I fail at this, there's nothing coming up, and there's a lot coming up that I want to be there for, and I will be there for.
Right on the shirt, man. That was the most not toxic thing you've said all day. I appreciate it.
Thank
Dropping
you
some words
very
of wisdom
much.
here.
Thank you very
Uh,
much.
before we wrap up on a little rapid fire game, one more. We did talk about um, seeing the entrance come together, but when was the first moment where it really clicked to you that the audience is catching on? And I thought I was onto something, but
Mm.
I am actually onto something.
Yeah, again, I had the idea for the toxic masculinity character. It's very true to myself. It's very much what I believe in, both on TV, exaggerated, and in real life.
Mhm.
So I felt like it was good, and I felt like I was following in the footsteps of maybe like a Chris Jericho. He can go in the ring, but he's got a strong character always in the WWE. But then I did a show in England. I not long got back to SmackDown. I did a show in England in the O2. Or was it the O2? It might have been Wembley, actually. It might have been the Wembley arena. And I attack Matt Cardona. And my entrance music starts playing. I attack Cardona. The entrance music continues to play. And then I do a promo in the ring. The crowd were there for me 100% of the time. And historically, anytime Pretty Deadly had been in England, Pretty Deadly, were bad guys. We weren't afraid to cheat.
Mhm.
I think sometimes we took pride, and every time we went to England, we didn't get like we didn't get that hometown crowd love reaction. We stayed true in being bad guys. So I wasn't expecting much of a reaction for myself, but they were there for me the whole way. The song was barely out, and people were singing the lyrics. And I think at that moment there, it clicked for me. That gave me the confidence, and I haven't stopped since. So shout out to England
And shout out to England.
and the
Last one.
rain.
And I know we do. I know you've gotten variations of this before, but I got a segment here: toxic or tough. I've got some memorable WWE moments. I just want a quick reaction from you of whether or not this is a toxic thing for your fellow superstars to do and why, okay?
Okay, love it.
All
And
right.
why?
Yeah, you can keep it short, just a sentence or two, whatever you
I'll
want,
try.
whatever doesn't get me in trouble with PR, whatever you have time for, I have time for,
Okay,
okay?
I'm there.
Um, I know you're a big John Cena fan. Was stealing Eve Torres from Matt Cardona slash Zack Ryder toxic, or are you going to give him a pass?
Toxic. John Cena was a childhood hero of mine. However, he's retired and he keeps coming back, taking up space for the future generation. John Cena, WrestleMania. Great having you, but I'm done with you. Toxic. Move on.
Degeneration X invading WCW with a tank.
Ooh, so toxic it became tough.
Ooh, like that. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso's entire relationship.
Damn. I mean, I can't stop watching it, but toxic for sure.
Eddie Guerrero lying and cheating his way to victory. I'm talking the untied boots. I'm talking the steel chair and flop.
Yeah, let me say this again. Inspirational. I'm taking notes, but you're toxic.
Okay. Edge and Lita's live celebration on Monday Night Raw.
That couldn't have been more my era growing up. Edge, Lita, you're toxic.
And last one, I think
Filth.
memorable. Same generation. I'm also 30. Loved it at the time. Aged.
Loved it.
I loved. Danhausen, just his entire existence.
Toxic, toxic, toxic. And this Saturday at Backlash, you'll see what me and The Miz are going to do to him because he is toxic.